Welcome to J Talk, Josh and Johnny Boy. We got a special guest here.
A very, very special guest.
What's up, Edwin? This guy has been just such an awesome member of our community. He has seen some tremendous growth and accomplishments in the gym and outside the gym. So we figured, what better way to get some people on our podcast? Why not hit up Edwin? Why not get Edwin in here? He's a great story. He's got an awesome story. Edwin, why don't you tell us a little bit about, just give us like a brief little synopsis of your story, then we'll dive right into it.
Sure. So basically, I'm gonna tell a story of where I came from as a kid and where I grew up to the turning point in my life on which I decided to be healthy and lose weight, and to from that point to where I'm at now, and my journey through the whole process and being part of Fitness Forward.
So I love that. You said you lost weight. What was the reasoning for losing weight for you? Like what was that turning point?
So the big turning point for me was the day I felt like I had to change my mindset on my health. And that was a lot of that had to do with the fact that I saw diabetes in my family, and Hispanics, there's a lot of diabetes. I got tired of feeling complacent with my life and the choices I had made. And I really wanted to turn it around. And so I decided to set a goal for myself, and a realistic goal to lose weight. And that's pretty much that point where I think I had hit a rock bottom from a health perspective, and realized that all the things I had been telling myself that to justify why it's okay to be heavy and eat as much as I want and not work out was okay. It was like a bit of a depression, and then as soon as I made that decision, it really changed it around.
Right. I like that. So you talked about the change in mindset. What were some of the mindset switches you had to make? Because I'm sure you were living your life for however long before you decided to hop on this fitness journey. What were you doing before? Like, what was the lifestyle you were living? Could you give us a little more detail about that?
Yeah. So the mindset that I had before making the decision was that I was happy in the sense that I had what I thought I wanted in life, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that I had a career. I was married at the time. I felt like there was not much more I needed, and I was like, why does it matter if I work out? Why does it matter what I eat? I mean, I should enjoy life and eat whatever I want, and consume as much as I want. I'm like, there's no reason for me to seek a better fitness for myself or making healthier decisions, because there was no one to drive me to do that. And the biggest thing about the drive is it has to come from you, not from somebody else.
Right.
And my wife at the time, she saw it as like, hey, I love you for who you are, for what, there's no need to do anything more. And I saw it as an escape for me, right? Like there's no reason for me to push myself. There's no reason to go do anything more. If I'm married and have a great job, like why do more? So I was very complacent. But a lot of that started to go downhill. Like I started to see that I wasn't happy. I really didn't feel successful in any way. Super complacent. Like a lot of decisions, I started realizing that a lot of decisions I made in my early adulthood life were wrong. And there were just decisions that I had made so that I wouldn't shake the waters, right? I wouldn't stir the water. It was an easy path, the path of least resistance, right? Like I wanted the easy things. I didn't want to work hard for anything. And it just for me, it felt like this is good. Like I don't, this is as good as it's gonna get, and I don't need to push any harder, or do any more to succeed.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. You guys hear that echo that's going on in the background? Okay, maybe it's
Yeah,
my
I don't
side.
hear any echo.
So, quick question, Edwin. How like what age are we talking about? How old are you when this is all going down? You're in your 20s, you in your 30s? I'm curious.
This is all happening in my 20s.
So,
So a lot of that happens, like growing up, I was always a chubby kid.
Mm.
Yeah, never athletic, super lazy, played video games,
a
really
good
into
life.
like, yeah.
That's a good
Yeah, I
life.
was in school. I was really into like getting good grades in school. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to do something more. But physically, I really didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit around, watch TV. And so that mindset kind of like pushed me into college. When I was in college, um, this is like in my 20s. I worked a 32-hour job plus I went to school full time. So a lot of time I was hustling doing stuff, but when I wasn't, I was either doing homework, studying, or eating. Um, and so from the time I graduated from high school to and then I met my ex-wife um, while my second year in college. I jumped a lot in weights. Like I
So
went
how much are we
from
talking?
I think I probably went from 220 to 240, 245 in college. And then at my max weight when I was 27, I would say about 26, 27, weighing at 275. So I blew up. I got like if you see pictures of me in high school, I'm chubby but not super chubby.
Mm.
But then as time progressed and through college and through getting married and having starting my first job, I just grew up, ate a lot, and got really big.
Mm.
And I was starting experiencing problems with my knees, my back, and I'm only in my 20s.
Mm. Mm.
So my mindset being so young, I basically had very low self-esteem, um, uh, no confidence whatsoever to do more than just go to school. That was the only goal I had.
Mm.
Um, and I made a lot of decisions that are based off of low self-esteem because it made me feel better. And I think a lot of people, when you're young and trying to figure out what it is you want to do or what it is you want in life, you kind of rely on others to help you feel good or feel what it is you were looking for without looking inside yourself. And I'm about to be 40, and I'm fighting through that now, and I'm glad that I'm figuring it out. Um, but yeah, I mean, in my 20s, I look to others to help me feel better.
Mm.
And so that like I just needed to turn that mindset around.
Yeah, it's like I can't even picture you being 275 right now, seeing how you look right now. So you've dropped about how much are you weighing now?
Right now about 187. And so just to give you even a history on the fitness workout, did a lot of cardio, a lot, and that's all I did. So I had no muscle strength, but I got down to 169 pounds. That was the lowest weight
So
I ever got to.
that's 100 pounds right there. I'm trying to picture that. So that's like if I was to put on the weighted vest, but that's my everyday life, like the 100 weighted pound vest we have at the gym. I remember putting that thing on, and that was probably the worst feeling I ever felt. My knees, my ankles, and I was wearing that thing for like an hour workout, a 40-minute workout. So I couldn't even imagine how you felt just carrying that around and having that be your everyday life. So one day you just woke up and it was cold turkey? You just started going to the gym every single day, or how did you start your fitness journey? What were some of the steps you took? Because now I know I'm talking to you now, and you're working out like 6 days, 7 days. I mean, you haven't even taken a break in the last 3 weeks. How did you slowly work your way up to just start dropping that initial weight and get that momentum built up?
So one of the things I decided to do was not go into like this whatever fitness craze is going on, right? Like a keto diet or whatever process, because I wanted to do it in my mindset and what I had been looking on YouTube or reading up on, I wanted to build it over time. What I didn't want to do is like force it on my body or force something that I couldn't reproduce or hold for a long time. So yeah, so I looked at the best options, Josh, and I said, I woke up and I'm like, I gotta set a realistic goal, a smart measurable goal. And I said, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds in 10 weeks. And I marked the date on my calendar. I'm like, this is my starting date. I figure I could lose 2 pounds a week. And so that was the first part, setting the goal, 20 pounds in 10 weeks. Second part is, how do I achieve that? How do I lose those 2 pounds a week? So I went and I signed up for the gym, regular, like kind of like a 24-hour fitness type of thing. And then I also made the conscious decision to cut down on my food. So what I didn't go into like some craze about like a diet, or I didn't go into but what I did was I started to cut down on a lot of the food I was eating. And being Hispanic, Mexican, we eat a lot of tortillas, we eat a lot of rice. And like every time I would eat something, I would have at least 4 tortillas. That was a requirement for at least 4 tortillas.
Wow.
A bunch of rice, and that was like, and I would serve like 2 plates. Like I would eat 2 plates every time. There was always a second round for eating. So I did the decision. It was like, okay, I'm no more tortillas. I'm gonna minimize the rice to almost to nothing. I'm only gonna serve myself once. I did look into like from eating habits of eating snacks in between days. So I'm not eating snacks between meals, so I'm not hungry throughout the day, so that my stomach is always working itself. The metabolism is working. So I got like fruits, and I was eating oatmeal. So I made that conscious decision myself. I didn't go to a nutritionist. I just went and I decided to say, like, what can I eat? What can I eat less of? And then like if I went to In-N-Out, I just got a burger, no fries. So I was like, if I do have to eat out, I won't get the fries. I'll just the burger. Or if I go to a dinner place or breakfast place, I'll get a side of fruits or salad instead of like the rice or the potatoes. So that was all things that I came up with to help me lose the weight. And then the gym part of it, I went to the gym, first day to the gym, had no idea what to do, right? I've never worked out in my life. I had a friend who kind of was telling me what to do. But I think I did what almost anybody does, is go treadmill, elliptical, like all the different things, and all the machines that have the weights and everything, and it had no purpose. Like it had no fluidity, right? I don't know. I was just doing random stuff the first few days.
Right.
And I knew this wasn't going to work out for me. Like I knew that there's no way I could do this way. So I had to, I was very shy. I had a lot of anxiety talking to people. And there was a trainer there that teaches the group classes. As part of the gym membership, it's a free thing. They don't pay you anything for group classes. And I had to like break away from that shyness and talk to that trainer. I'm like, hey, can I walk into a group class and learn? And the trainer was like, yeah, come on in. And my first group class, very first one, was a step class with older ladies.
That's awesome.
Look at you.
Epic.
And so I took step. I was like, I've never done step before. I'm like, come on, this is like an 80s, 90s thing, whatever. So I took a step class with a lot of older ladies. And it was funny because I was the only guy in my 20s in a step class with a bunch of older ladies. And but they all like encouraged me and they cheered me on, and they saw me starting to lose weight. And as I progressed with it, they were actually very nice. They were very nice to me, and they were very encouraging. They were like, wow, we can see the difference, when you started doing step class with us. But that was my first introduction to group workouts. And I saw the benefit because I was like, when I go to the gym, I have no idea what to do. I'm like, I can learn something, learn some techniques. But yeah, that's what I did it. And back to the whole goal of the 2 pounds per week. I decided to select a date on the calendar that I would weigh myself to see that I'm making progress. So every Tuesday morning, I'd weigh myself. And obviously, I think the first 2 weeks or so, it was easy to lose 2 pounds because my body was in shock, and it was just like, like, what are you doing to your body?
Right.
But as that time progressed, I was losing 1.5, 3 pounds, and so I was pushing myself harder to make sure I at least lost 2 pounds on average. And yeah, sure enough, I met my goal, and I lost 20 pounds in 10 weeks.
No,
That's awesome.
That's amazing. You know, a lot of you would set a goal for yourself. I think it's amazing that you were able to be self-aware enough to start making these changes without having to really be coached by someone when it came to your nutrition. Like, I think part of that came from your skill set. You were telling me that you're really focused on academics and you did pretty well in school. I think part of that discipline, even though you fell off, you know, you got up to 275 pounds, some of that discipline from your academics looks like it carried over to when you started your fitness journey, because you started with these short-term goals and you were just self-aware enough to start making just little changes, and you stuck to that. For example, that 20 pounds that you initially lost. So what were some of the struggles right off the bat that you faced? You know, you went from not doing any exercise to eating pretty much whatever you wanted to, you know, getting on a consistent workout schedule. Were there ever days that you felt like, hey, I'm kind of sore, I don't feel like going to the gym? What did you do during those times? And what tips do you have for someone that just wants to start?
So some of the hurdles in the beginning, I think, were the consistency, right? Like feeling the soreness, that was tough. But I think because because of that goal, that 20 pounds, right? Like that, I wanted to keep up with that. I pushed myself. Like that was all a mental thing for me to be consistent with it, because I didn't want to let myself down. There was no one I had no one to show off for, right? Like, it was all me. And seeing, like, marking, like, on my calendar, writing on my calendar what my weight was, and seeing how I'm losing those 2 pounds, it just helped me drive for that consistency.
Right.
So even though I was being sore, and I was pushing myself. I was like, if I want to lose 2 pounds next week, I got to keep it up this way. And so that helped me, and I think that, like, the group also helped me, and I was kind of like open up, like, hey, I want to lose weight, and I want to learn something. So that really helped me stay consistent with it. It was all a mental drive for me. That was my drive. Like, I could see it on my calendar that, I'm at 265, 263, it's
right.
Like slowly going down. I'm like, man, I gotta keep up with this. Like, and then the fact that I had a 10-week marker, like, I knew the date that I needed to get it done, just helped me stay on that. Like, I had a deadline, and I had to meet that deadline. So there's no way I could, like, stop from doing this. Like, if I'm gonna meet my deadline, I gotta do what I gotta do to get there.
So what happened after that 20 pounds? Because we find that in fitness, like, people lose 20 pounds and then they revert back to their old habits.
Right.
Like, that's so common. They go on these extreme diets, like, you cut everything in half pretty much, and you're exercising. How did you get past that reversion back? Because you obviously lost 100 pounds. What got you past that first 20 weeks?
So I hit the mark, and I was super excited. And then I was like, man, like, I was able to do this for 10 weeks, right? I lost 10 pounds in 10 weeks, 2 pounds a week. Why not keep going? I was like, what's stopping me from losing more weight? So I kept going. So I didn't have another marker per se to get to, but I still kept my calendar where I was marking down losing the 2 pounds. So I started seeing that I was capable of the process, and I started pushing myself even harder, because, like, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, step class is economy for me, right? Like, I need to do a little more. So I started taking other group classes at the gym. I started taking 2 group classes back to back, starting to learn more, and I just kept my calendar up to date with how much that I'm losing 2 pounds, and then I got to the point where I'm like 210, and I don't remember the last. I was like, wait, I'm at 210. When was the last time I saw myself at under 200 pounds?
275 to 210. How long did that take? How long did that take you to get to 210?
I would say it probably took me about a year, of consistency. Like,
Wow.
if I did the math, but yeah. So I kept that 2 pound loss, and the greatest feeling for me was the week that I knew I should hit under 200 pounds. That week, I knew I had to hit under 200 pounds. If I'm on track for losing 2 pounds a week, I can do this. And that was a very exciting week for me, because like I was on track, and I got on the scale that week where I should have been, and I hit 199. And
Wow.
I took a picture of the scale. I wish I had that picture. I should have, but I jumped on the scale and I saw 199 pounds on the scale, and I'm like, wow, like, it was amazing to feel that it was able to hit under 200.
That's ridiculously amazing. 70 pounds in a year is really good weight loss. Like, that is on point. And it sounds like that calendar is the best tool that you had. Like, that was your motivation. Tuesday, I know on Tuesday I'm going to weigh myself. That seems like something that anybody can benefit from. Is, you set that initial goal, you followed up with logging on your calendar, and just seeing that consistency is such an awesome aspect. Because a lot of people, they don't track, they don't measure, they lose 20 pounds, and then they stop tracking and they stop measuring and they gain 20 pounds.
Right.
So
Wow.
staying consistent with that is seems to be the best. You there, Josh?
Hitting whatever goals you have on paper. Say that again.
I'll keep going. You got it.
You guys hear me all right? Yeah, I was going to say, so I think getting your goals on paper and actually seeing them is so powerful, because when you just keep things in your head, it's easy to,
Kona, get over here.
If you're head versus what Edwin did, he wrote it on a calendar, and I'm pretty sure he's looking at that calendar every single day. All right, I've got 10 days to get to that goal. What do I got to do today to get me to that goal? I've got 9 days to get me to that goal. Seeing it is like accountability. It's like a coach, right? So you don't want to let yourself down, because you're seeing it every time. And imagine if Edwin got to that date and he realized, wow, I didn't even work out at all this week. Like, what would that do to that momentum and that confidence? You talked a lot about these external benefits that you've been feeling, right? I'm sure you were, moving better, less pain, just overall, you were lighter, so life was easier for you. What were some of the mental benefits you felt from this whole entire journey? Eating healthier, exercising, losing, getting under that 200-pound mark. You talked about in the beginning of your journey, you had low self-confidence and low self-esteem. You felt you were sort of a shy guy. What were some of those internal benefits you felt that, are continuing to push you till this day? Because, the journey's not over. You've lost over 100 pounds and you're still in the gym. So if you could tell us some of that, about a little bit more about that.
Sure. So I think when I started losing the weight and pushing myself, I started to feel confident in myself, and not just confident in the sense that I could accomplish so many things, but confident in that I could push myself and that I found something new. Confidence in my work. I started feeling better at work. I could focus more. I had more energy. I wasn't as shy. I could definitely see, standing up straight. And, a lot of times I think, John's seen how my back is and how my posture is not that great. But a lot had to do with just so many years of just putting my head down and, not feeling proud or of the success that I've done. So the workout definitely made me feel much more confident. And from any social aspect, talking to you guys, talking to new people, more focus at work, more energy to do stuff, even building a consistent habit. So as I was going through this process, I started, building those eating habits, and then not going to the gym after work, because my gym at the time was just like 5 minutes from my work, felt odd to me. Like, if I didn't go to the gym, I felt like something's off in my day. Like, my day is totally whacked. Like that 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours after work, to go to the gym and do that, that felt normal to me. It felt, if I didn't go to the gym, it felt like my day is just thrown off. Um, and that was an interesting thing for me to build that feeling and the habit, and to think that a day without the gym is not a good day for me. And so that also was something that I'm super glad that I built up, because for a long time, I suffer from procrastination, no confidence, bad, being lazy. All these things are like really bad habits that even now I'm struggling through, and I'm glad I'm pushing myself. But it was even worse, when I was younger and I'm trying to figure it out. But during the fitness process, like I just felt so much better. And to be honest with you, with people are like, you try to humble yourself, but then there's the whole vanity part of it too. When people are like, man, you're looking great, or like, you lost so much weight. And I'm like, for a long time, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I don't see that, me losing that much weight. I don't see the difference. I'm like, I see the number, right? I see the calendar. I see my calendar. I'm losing the weight. But in the mirror, I didn't see that. And then people were like, you're looking amazing. And I'm like, that also helped me feel great. Like, I was like, wow, like, I was trying to be humble about it, because I'm like, I don't want to, I feel like, any vanity tied to looking great from pushing yourself in fitness is like, oh, you're I don't know, you're being selfish or something. But the reality is, like, I work my ass off.
Yeah,
right. And it's like I should feel proud that I look great and that I look good. And like, I didn't have that feeling growing up. I was a heavy guy, and I never felt like I was attractive in any way, and I never felt that was all related to self-esteem and confidence. But going through this process, that self-esteem came in. I was looking great, and I was like, I should take pride in all the effort that I worked for. So that was one of the external things that really helped me. Like, even from work, people saw the difference in my mindset, and how much and how approachable I was, and how much I wanted to help others, and also grow in my career. So the fitness journey helped me with that, and it also helped me with my relationship, in the sense that it helped me identify what it is I want and what I don't want. And I started feeling those feelings of, like, a lot of the decisions that I made in my past were based on low self-esteem, lack of confidence, things to just make my life easier, versus now where I should know what I want, and it shouldn't be tied to, just making my life any much easier.
So you lost that 100 pounds. That's amazing. And then you got this new renewed self-confidence. You knew what your goals were. Tell us about your journey into our program, Fitness Forward.
So this is the vulnerability and being humble about, like, how I got into Fitness Forward. So Fitness Forward, when I met John, was a bit of a turning point in my life. I had just separated from my wife. We were in the process of getting divorced. I didn't have where I started my fitness journey. I had a consistent plan where I was working out. I had a job where it was close to the gym. I had all those group classes set up. Everything was consistent. And then I moved to San Diego, and I was here for a couple of years trying to figure my own thing out, and doing other gyms, other boot camps. And then after a couple of years of being here in San Diego is when I separated from my ex-wife, and I was pretty much in a tough spot. I was in a bad spot, trying to figure, what do I want to do? I need something different. And Christina Zhang, who a lot of people know, had been my friend for a couple of years. And she's like, hey, why not try Fitness Forward with me, because she knows that I was going to other gyms. I was trying boot camps. I was trying, like, all the Groupon stuff. And I had done a lot of cardio stuff for a long time. So the boot camps that I was trying, I was like, I can do this. This is, like, I'm building endurance. But Christina was like, hey, Fitness Forward, you want to get stronger? You want to try something harder? And I'm like, yeah, let's try this. I'm like, I'm like, I'm down to try fitness forward. And sure, I met with John, and I think it was like 6 a.m. class that I went to.
Yeah.
My very first week, and it was tough. Like, but it was like it felt rewarding and challenging, right? Like I needed something to distract my mind from all the stuff that was going on in my personal life. And there was a lot to it. And I think fitness forward was a good way to get my mind off something more productive than all the other crap that's going on. And that's how I went. And it was interesting because I remember doing lunges and jump lunges with John with weights. And John's like, yeah, he's like, hey, yeah, you seem like you're, you want to be here. You want to drive yourself. I'm like, yeah, this sounds pretty cool. So definitely, like, that's how I met John. That's how I joined Fitness Forward, because of Christina. I tried it out for, I think John gave me like a week or two for free to just, experience it. And I was like, this is great. And I was actually very grateful for John for giving me an opportunity to be there because, we talked briefly about what was going on at that time with my life. And, he was there. I was like, hey, just come here and work out, I'll push you. And, it's a different kind of push that I had never received in any of my workouts ever. Like I've done a lot of group sessions. I've done boot camps. And this is one that I've never experienced this way. And keep in mind, this is back in 2000, was it 2016 when
Something like that.
when John was still, and I see John grow too, and and it was, John was like very hard ass on you, and I appreciated that because there's a lot of people who say like, hey, I don't want anybody yelling at me. I don't want to be, like I feel like they're pushing me too hard, and I'm like, I need to push. I at the time in my life it was a tough spot for me, and the mindset that I had built up was really going down. It was one of my down, I've had ups and downs, and this is probably one at a very critical turning point in my life. And I needed to push. I needed someone to push me harder than I would have pushed myself. So that's how my experience was the first couple of weeks, and from then until now, it's like I've seen the difference in the training methodologies, and I appreciate it. It helps me even when I'm struggling, and even when I'm about to throw up, or even when I do throw up, I still go in there and do it. And even maybe I'm like, maybe John is like, or on my case, and I'm like, damn it, John. But it's not. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop him. It's the push. It's nothing against me personally. It's just what I need to do here sometimes.
Right.
And that's how I take it, right? Like I may get upset because you guys are pushing me harder than I want to be pushed that day, or maybe I'm having a tough day. But it's nothing against me. It's just it is what it takes, right? And that's the mindset that I want or that I like.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying how you tried a bunch of other. You're going to a corporate style gym, like 24-hour fitness style. You did other boot camps. You talked about how you were pushed beyond your limits with the fitness forward method. How and what other ways do you feel the workouts at Fitness Forward differed from the workouts you were doing previously? Because you were saying how you're doing a lot of cardio stuff and you're doing a lot of machines. What else was different?
So for when I lost all that weight, it was all cardio. I did nothing that was heavily intense in regards to strength training. So although I was down to 169 pounds, I had no muscle. Like I couldn't I wouldn't be able to bench press. I don't know. I could probably just do the bar or with a couple of weights. But the main difference was that, when I started my journey to losing weight, it was mainly to lose weight. I didn't think about it from a strength training. Like I didn't think about like, where should I, gain muscle or how strong do I want to be? My mindset at the time was like, I need to lose weight. I need to be healthy. In the sense that, I need to lower my cholesterol. And that's actually one of the things too, when I went to the doctor and he's like, you're 275 pounds and your cholesterol is high, you need to do something. That was also a turning point. That also contributed, Josh, to the fact that I needed to lose the weight. But yeah, it was all the other boot camps where they pushed you, but they didn't push you as hard. Like in the sense that, they were so big. They were outdoor boot camps. and there's a lot of people there. I mean, it's even more challenging to try to, focus on one person when you have a lot of people involved. The gym classes also were pretty big. So there's not a little main focus on you as an individual to learn better techniques, or maybe even following what you're doing. Like, you could have been slacking off or not
Right.
pushing yourself. So there was a point where all of that helped, and I could push myself from an endurance perspective, but I had no strength. I like I could go an hour doing burpees, doing jump squats, but I had like, I wouldn't be able to bench press any weights or anything like that. And I was like, oh, this is good. Like I've lost the weight. I should get stronger. So that was a huge one for the whole fitness forward part of it. But me realizing that, like, I'm super happy that I lost 100 pounds, but I'm not strong.
So
So you
gaining
want,
strength and hitting the weights differently, learning how to lift weights, that was the next thing for you.
It was. I needed to get stronger. I needed to, it didn't look great being 169 pounds. Or yeah, and even then, when I met you, John, I had gone up back to like 180. But it was just like, 20 pounds that I gained just from not pushing myself, and not because I was still trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do from a gym perspective and workout.
So you came in the gym and you saw all this strength training going on. Was it a little intimidating for you, or were you excited about it? Like, what about all the technique, like learning all the technique of the moves? That's always going to take you to that next level. What's your experience? What was your experience with that aspect?
So I would say initially it was maybe a bit intimidating, right? Like I don't know. I've never used a barbell to do lunges and squats. It was always like free weights. And even if it was like a barbell, it was like body pump for anybody who's taking body pump. And I know John's taught the class. They had the bar with the two weights, and then you're doing squats with that, right? But that's probably equivalent to two dumbbells holding and doing squats. And so it was intimidating. Like I saw a lot of people at the 6 a.m. class. What made me feel better about it was Christina taught me about the methodology of the class. Christina and I had worked out before on her own, and she was showing me like before I rejoined Fitness Forward, I actually did a workout with Christina once, and because we went somewhere together, and there was like a gym, and she's like, let's try this workout. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Like I can work out. And she did like, I think like a John class. And man, I was struggling. She was like, let's do some kickbacks. I'm like, all right, I can do a kickback. And she was like, oh, you gotta go a little heavier than that. And I'm like, all right, like this is before I even knew about Fitness Forward. I just knew that she had a gym. And then she did it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm sore and tired. And she's like, yeah, this is kind of stuff, this is like the stuff you do, this is like my gym here. But I was excited about it. I was like, when I joined Fitness Forward, I needed something different in my life. And I wasn't gonna just stop because I felt intimidated. I needed the challenge. I hate feeling, and I know I've done it a lot of times in my life, feeling that I gave up because it's too hard. And I try anything I do now, especially now. I don't want to just give up just because it's hard. I got to get up and do it. I got to get up and try again. And that's kind of like the mindset I have now, especially like I need to try and try and try. I can't just give up. And when I met John at the gym, I thought it was good. I was feeling sore, but I'm like, hey, this is better. This is like something that I need, and it's helping me through a rough time in my life.
So, Edwin, check it out. I've worked with a lot of clients, a lot of people in the past, where maybe their goal is to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds max of fat. And once they hit that goal, know, in a lot of ways they get complacent. You know, maybe they're going to continue to exercise, continue to watch what they eat, but it's almost as if that's it, right? They lose the 20 pounds and they feel like they're all right. You've lost over 100 pounds. You know, you started a strength training journey, started lifting weights. You've gone through every single phase, right? You lost that initial weight, right? That initial 20 pounds. You know, you changed, you did a complete 180 when it came to your lifestyle, right? You found a workout formula, something that worked for you as far as the gym, right? You tried everything, right? What's keeping you driven now? Because now you're working out 7 days a week. You know, you're hiking every week, you're strength training, you're eating clean, you're improving on the self-development side. What keeps that fire burning? I feel like a lot of people, that fire dies down, but I mean, you're just getting better and better. And I just want to hear a little bit more about that.
So I think once I hit that goal, and once like that, you know, years ago when I hit that goal, because now it's been 10 years since I started my journey. The biggest overarching goal is I never want to go back to who I was. Especially, and I say that from first from the physical perspective. I don't ever want to get back to that 200 plus pound person I was. I know what it was like, and to feel that if I'm starting to get back up there, I'm like, I can't go back there. I'll let that person go in the past. And for those who hit that milestone or be complacent, for me, the reason I keep working out and the reason I keep pushing myself is because I want to be healthy the rest of my life. I don't ever want to be that person I was. And if it means that I have to work out every day and still monitor what I'm eating, I don't want to be that 275 pound person I was ever again. It doesn't feel great to be that person, and I can't. The only thing I take from that is my lessons learned, but that's it. Like there's no sympathy for who I was, because the only person that's gonna hurt is me, and so I can't look back and allow myself to ever get back to that. And so for those who meet that goal and they're like, hey, I lost my 20 pounds, or I lost, it's like that's a great accomplishment, and it's like, why not do more? Like why not push yourself to get even more and not allow yourself to be complacent in life. And like I see myself as I'm about to be 40. I mean, I feel great. I look at when I'm 50 and I'm like, I still don't feel great. Like maybe when I'm 65 or 70, then I'm like, all right, maybe I cut it. But for now, from a physical perspective, I just want to be able to run. I want to, when people think about like what are your goals and everything, I'm like, I want to be able to run with you guys. I don't want to feel like I'm like at home injured, or like whatever body issues I'm having. I'm like, I want to be able to go out there and do a run. I want to be able to do a hike. I want to be able to push myself along with other people, or like, I don't have any kids, but I have my nieces and nephews. Like, I want to be able to run around with them. Like, I see other family members are like, oh, man, it's kids. I can't keep up with them. Like, I can. And I'm younger than you. Like I want to be able to keep up with those around me. And that's a good thing, right? Because not only is that I want to keep up with those around me, is that I'm surrounding myself by people who are positive, right? Like, why would I want to hang out with somebody who's like, that's okay, we don't need to go for a hike. That's okay, like I don't need to. It's like, I don't need that. So if I want to hang out with these positive people, these winners, these guys pushing, I'm like, I better push myself, right? Like these are positive influences in my life. And for me, it just means that I want to maintain a healthy lifestyle where I can keep up with them, keep up for myself. And that, so for me, from a physical, perspective, and anybody who listens to the podcast, who is like, like I'm happy. Now, like I can't feel complacent. There's no reason to feel complacent, because like every day is a new day and you want to learn something new and push yourself. Yeah, sometimes you'll hit that you'll get stagnant, right? You'll stay at a certain weight, but you're still pushing yourself every day. You're still learning. You're still doing something physically. And that's how I am. Maybe I'll stay at a certain weight for a couple of weeks, but it's not like I'm just sitting around. I'm out there pushing myself. Um, and so I think that's a great point. And for those who are wanting to do more or hit their goals, like like the fact that you hit your goal means that you can hit the next level of goal. Like I saw it. I lost 20 pounds. Awesome. Why not more? I lost 100 pounds. Awesome. Why not? Actually, I got to 199 and I was like, 199 pounds. This is awesome. So
Mm.
why not more? And I got to 169 pounds. But I think that's the physical part of it. And the mental part of it is, for me personally, is really pushing myself to become better. Like I think mentally, I've developed a lot of bad habits that have not allowed me to succeed and push myself to where I need to be. Um, and I need that positivity in my life, and I need to make decisions that are more helpful for me to grow. Josh, you and I were just talking about like how important it is to have a father in your life, and how me as a man who wants to be a good man, who wants to be a great man,
Mm.
that definitely had an impact on me because I didn't have a father in my life. I didn't have anybody help me drive. Learn something. Be what it is to be a man. So that's something that I'm learning now. I'm 39. I'll be 40. I'm learning that now. And then I'm mentally doing the fitness workout for my brain, for my mind, right? Like people say, like you gotta, you want your body to be better, you gotta hit the gym. You want your mind to be better, you gotta start reading. And I'm reading some books right now. Um, Surrounding myself with positive people, and it's helping me make better decisions and grow.
Awesome. I love that. Being around strong, like-minded people is key. And,
Mm.
that's why in our community and Fitness Forward, we don't allow people to come in who are negative and who complain, and we weed those people out. It's like we want to be surrounded by winners, just like you, just like Josh. And that's so key, is even having that 1 hour a day where you can go into the gym, be surrounded by a bunch of awesome people who are going to push you and challenge you. That's so important. And as far as your strength, like how has your strength improved? What have you noticed? Like what are your biggest strength improvements in the gym?
So I think one of the things I've noticed is how deep. I remember when I first started fitness forward, and a squat and a lunge. What I thought was a squat, and how deep I can go. Right, strength training from a perspective is like not only like the weight, but like the technique and the form. I definitely I'm trying to build my legs with squats, and the biggest thing I've been seeing now is the depth of my squat. One of the things that John, like what yeah, I would say, like for many years, so what I thought was a squat was a half squat. Like what I thought was a regular squat was just a half squat. Where a lot of people are confused, or what I thought was a lunge was a half lunge, right? And what I even thought from a bench press, I think from sitting with you guys and you guys, pushing me on the bench, what I thought was a valid bench press is not something that I thought was correct. So I've been able to get stronger bench press more, focus on techniques that won't hurt myself. I think, a deadlift, I've never done deadlift before fitness forward. Never. I had ever done an actual deadlift. And even through the years, what I thought was a good form was not good form. I was hurting my lower back. And so I had to be humble and modest, right? Where I think the hardest thing that people see is that they compare themselves to the other people in fitness forward, or compare themselves to anybody outside, and they're like, well, I was there, and I would see some other guy like deadlifting super heavy. I'm like, I could do that, or like I could build up to that, and I'm like, but I was doing it wrong, and it hurt. It would hurt me. It would hurt my lower back if I was trying to do a deadlift, but I was like really outside of what I should be doing because I wasn't doing it with proper form. It's something that I'm still learning now. But it's for those who are intimidated too, right? the biggest thing that somebody told me at Fitness Forward, and this is from Greg, one of our old school members. He told me, he's like, Edwin, I've been an athlete all my life. I've been an athlete since I was in high school. And he's an older gentleman. Greg, how old is Greg? 50,
55, 56.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell him, like, Greg, I'm like, man, you're a beast. Like, hey, you're crazy. Like, doing things. And he's like, and this is Edwin, don't compare yourself to me. Because I've been doing this since I was in high school, and I started my fitness journey when I was 28, 29, and you just push yourself to what you can do, learn, and you'll grow up. But you should never compare yourself to anybody else, because then I'm always gonna feel negative about it. I'm gonna feel bad. I'm like, yeah, these guys are beasts, and I'm maybe my own variation of a beast for what I can do and what I can push myself. And I think that's a key thing to take away from anybody who goes to Fitness Forward or goes to any gym and they compare themselves to others who are like in great shape and they can do all this. It's like, they've been doing it for a long time. You're there. You shouldn't compare yourself to anybody. And the only person that you should compare yourself to is the person who used to be in the past and who you will be.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like
lately what I've been envisioning. A lot of people say, like, envision what is want. What was that, Josh? I didn't hear you.
Break it up a little bit. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying it sounds like your standards just for everything in your life have increased. Like you talked about never wanting to revert back to that old mindset that you had, to that old body that you had. And that's what's keeping the fire burning. You talked about surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that are going to keep you accountable, that are going to, make sure that you are pushing yourself in every single aspect, right? You talked with Greg and he pretty much told you, hey, you started a little bit later. Greg's been an athlete since he was a kid, right? And I think that's powerful because it's never too late for any of you to start your fitness journey, right? Doesn't matter how much you weigh or what you were doing before then. Edwin's the perfect case of, realizing and then taking action and making a change, starting at 275 pounds. Like, I'm dumbfounded. I can't imagine you being 275 pounds right now. I actually can't even imagine you being a shy, unconfident guy talking to you in person now. It's like I can't even picture it in my head. So with that being said, you could be all the way on this side of the spectrum, low confidence, overweight, never touched the gym before, you have really no discipline, you know what I'm saying? And you could just take the first step. That's all it is. It's that first initial step and challenging yourself to just get to that first milestone, that first goal. Maybe it's 5 pounds. In Edwin's case, it was losing 20 pounds by a certain date, right? And then along the way, I feel like through this journey, you start learning more about yourself and realizing that you've had more in the tank. You've had so much potential that has pretty much been untapped. And then when you hit that first goal, like Edwin said, all right, let's see if I can get a little bit more. Let me get a little bit better. Oh, okay, it's been 6 months. I met somebody new who's a little bit better than me, who's able to push me. Edwin met Christina at one point who said, hey, you should try my gym. Right, you're doing pretty good. You've lost a lot of weight, but try my gym. I feel like you could learn from it. Edwin found strength training. He met John. Now he's doing this. And it lit a new fire under him where it's like, all right, where can I take it? Where can I take it from here? Never being complacent and satisfied with where you're at, but also at the same time appreciating how far you've come, right? 275 pounds to where he's at now. And Edwin said to himself, he looked in the mirror and he's like, it doesn't really feel like I've lost that much weight but then he has all this documentation. He has people telling him how he looks great and all that. And he's still staying humble about it. But at the same time, he's pushing himself to that limit. So that's something you have to commend. I know there's a lot of you out there who, you're just having trouble taking that first step, right? So start that with
yeah, taking that, like you said, Edwin's a perfect example of what a fitness journey ideally should be like. He was smart about it. He set a smart goal. He set a goal with an end date. He said, I want to lose 2 pounds a week. He started tracking it. He started watching his food and tracking it. He just did the basic, boring stuff. he didn't try, like he was saying, he didn't try any of the fads out. That's a key thing in the beginning. He's like, I didn't do any of those stupid fad diets. He's like, I just modified what I was currently eating, reduced it, right? I set small goals and I just tracked it day by day,
And
week by week.
And hopped on the treadmill. Wasn't even
On the
lifting.
freaking treadmill.
Yeah.
Right. And then he tried a group class, a step class with 90-year-old women, dancing around him. He had a party in there with those ladies. Then he tried body pump, which I've taught body pump. It can be intense, man, if you're new to it. And then he had some awesome good friends around him who was like, hey, come try my gym, and now you're at Fitness Forward, kicking butt every day, progressing in strength and technique and learning skills like the cleans, the Olympic movements, the snatches, the deadlifts, the proper bench press. Like, these are things that can develop a lifelong love for fitness. And like you said, just setting small goals, checking your strength numbers, seeing where your weight's at. All these things turn into what Edwin has done. You lost over 100 pounds. You've gained an unsurmountable amount of confidence and strength and just these new abilities, and now a new love of life. Like, you're just a classic example of a 180-degree turn. You changed your life.
Thank you. And I would like to say, like, for those who are listening to the podcast, one of the things that for a long time, I try to envision the future, right? Like, what is the goal that I want? What do I want to achieve? And a lot of people are like, they see at the end of the tunnel that, their big house, living by the beach, the car they want to achieve, but lately, or the person they want to be with, right? There's like this person, the ideal person they want to be with. And lately, me personally, the thing that I look for, that I'm forcing myself to envision, is me. Like, at the end of the tunnel, the better me, the person that has the right mindset, the successful version of me, that's there reaching up his hand to me to know that I can get there, and that what I need to vision for my future is that version of me. And like, when we do the runs on Sunday, and I'm like struggling to the end, and what I envision, not the finish line. Lately I've been really forcing myself to think the person waiting at that finish line is me, to congratulate me for getting it done, and to say, like, to reach out and say you made it, and now there's the newer version of you waiting for you on the other side. And I really want that to relay to all the people, that there's a lot of things we want, a lot of goals, but the only person that's going to keep us accountable for it is yourself. We can't rely on anybody else to get you there. I know a lot of people rely on their partners and who they're with, and that's great. But what you should be envisioning is seeing that healthy version of you at the end of the tunnel, that successful person who's going to pull you to that next level. And that's what I force myself to envision. That's who I see at the end of the tunnel, is me with my hands out and pulling me in to get to that finish line.
That's right.
That's so powerful. That's the definition of a winner's mindset right there. That's, Edwin, you couldn't have phrased that any better. That's the definition of a winner. Always pushing to get a little bit better. And every time that comfort zone starts knocking, you're on the run, you feel like stopping, you wake up, you're going to go to the 5 a.m. class, you wake up at 4 and you say, oh, I'm feeling a little bit tired, I didn't get a lot of sleep. And you get up for that workout anyway. You eat that clean meal when you could have just ate trash. You go to your job and kill it when you just weren't really feeling it. It's all those little things added up that get you one step closer to the best version of yourself. It's just that little step. And that's super powerful, how you can envision it, right? Whenever you're doing something that is challenging and you're going to want to stop, it's going to be painful, it's not very glorious, right? But you do it anyway with that in mind. You're picturing the best version of yourself. And it's actually one of my favorite quotes. They say that hell is when the person you are now meets the person that you were supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
That's something personally that I keep in my head whenever I'm going through something difficult, that I know that's going to benefit me. So Edwin, I know that I'm motivated by just hearing your story. Like, I'm fired up right now.
I'm about to go run 10 miles.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Mm.
Awesome, Edwin. It was great talking to you, my man. Thank you for coming in and sharing that awesome story. I love your shirt you're wearing. Never follow, always lead. That's awesome. Always lead yourself, right?
Yeah, I
Always
want to be
lead.
a lion. I want to be a lion, not a sheep.
That's right, 100%.
Yeah. So before we hop off this thing, Edwin, I'm gonna give you. We've got Becky, right? Becky, she's 42 years old. She's never touched weights in her life. She's overweight, and she wants to make a change in her life. I need you to give her just 3 tips right now. 3 tips that she can start out with that you think based off of the journey you've experienced. Three staples. If you could just write a little note to her to get her started and to keep her motivated along the journey, what would you tell her?
I would say surround yourself by positive people. You know, and I think that kind of deviates into a couple of things, but surround yourself by positive people. You know, stay accountable for yourself and stay consistent.
Awesome.
I love that
Those are
stuff.
huge things, right? You stay accountable and don't let anybody else make you accountable. You have to be accountable for your success.
Right. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for this awesome podcast. And J Talk will be back next week, Saturday, 10 a.m.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. We will see you
Happy
next
4th of
week.
July.